Hi everyone. So my name is Sam. I am a psychotherapist here at My Therapy NYC. I'm also the clinical coordinator, and I think I'll be doing these groups for the foreseeable future. I'm going to try to do them every third Thursday at this time, but we'll see how that works out with my schedule. But yeah, I thought today we would do a bit of a meditation and mindfulness practice around spring. I think oftentimes, like you might have seen in the blurb on the website, people um, move and transition quickly from winter to summer. I think, especially in New York, that can feel very fast. And in winter, we tend to really hibernate, turn inwards. We can feel a bit more depressed, a bit slower, kind of taking stock of where our life is at. And then we'll sort of quickly jump ahead to summer and all the exciting things that can be happening. And I think it's really important to honor this sort of transitional period, especially on a dreary, rainy day like today, and just notice like what's coming up for everyone in the spring. So today we'll start with just getting into our breath and into our bodies and going a bit more internal. And then I'll lead us through a little bit of like a sort of visualization energy sort of exercise. I'll be referencing a lot to like the metaphor of trees and sort of plants and things like that, because I think of that a lot with the seasonality of things, especially again in New York when we can see the trees and nature change so clearly. So we'll be doing like a bit of grounding and sort of rooting, and then going from there, and sort of seeing where things go. So everyone can get settled into their seats. You can sit in a chair. You can sit on the ground. I usually sit in like a cross-legged position, but I have a bit of a knee injury right now, so feel free to modify however feels comfortable for you. As long as you feel like you're in an upright position, you won't get too sleepy. And we'll start with just some easy stretches just to feel more connected to our bodies. So let's start with just rolling our necks one way, just a couple times. If you notice particular tension in any place, maybe you slow down and really like breathe into that space in your neck where there might be some tension, where you might be holding some more rigidity. Our heads are quite heavy and we tend to forget to take care of our necks and actually stretch beyond just our morning stretches. Then we can switch to the other side, other way when we feel ready. Again, just pausing at any point you notice yourself holding tension. I notice that especially when I go to the sides. Just rolling that out, just noticing any feelings, or it might be tense, just like breathing in, seeing if you can make yourself 1% less tense and more comfortable in that space. And we'll come back to a neutral space. Stretch the sides of our necks more. You can pull up one shoulder, kind of shrug it up, feel your earlobe pressing into your shoulder. Grab your other hand to your skull, and just drop that shoulder down and gently pull your head in the other direction. We can switch to the other side. Again, shrugging that shoulder all the way up, pushing your earlobe into it, grabbing your skull, and then just dropping that down, noticing the release, noticing how you might have been holding more tension in your shoulders than you even realized to begin with. We'll do that again on either side. Just again, shrug, shrug, shrug. Make yourself tense, and then make yourself relax. Just notice all the length and space there. The other side. And then we can roll our shoulders a bit. So roll your shoulders forward and back the other direction. Tense, tense, tense up and drop. Do that again. Tense, tense, tense up and drop. All right. So now we'll start connecting to our breath. I would encourage, if you're sitting in a chair, to make sure that both your feet are down on the ground, which I'm doing for myself right now. And for the beginning of this meditation, let's have our palms facing down. So we aren't really welcoming in any new energy. We aren't really open to any more energy, especially in the spring. If you're needing more grounding, usually having your palms down can be more beneficial. So maybe your palms are down on your lap. You might bring your gaze down, lower, just like squinting, relaxing your eyelids, or fully closing them. I'll be keeping mine open just to reference some notes that I have to keep us on track, but do whatever feels comfortable for you. Just settle into this space, not trying to adjust to your breathing at all, just noticing it. Is it shallow? Does it feel deep? Does your breath feel hot or cold? Are you breathing quickly, slowly? All these binaries, but you're probably somewhere in between. Just noticing where we're starting, not trying to change anything, trying to settle into stillness. Of course, if anything is uncomfortable throughout your practice today, feel free to adjust quickly and then just return back. There's no right way to meditate. You don't have to hold yourself still if it's distracting you. Noticing where your palms might meet your thighs or your knees. Noticing your feet on the ground, the weight of your body being pulled down by gravity, by the earth. Just noticing where we're starting. Again, just settling into your breath, settling into stillness, keeping your palms down so there's some grounded energy there. Now start to tune into your breath. A helpful place for this is if you're breathing in through your nose, just noticing the texture of the breath at the tip of your nose. As you breathe in, maybe it feels cool. As you breathe out, it might feel warm. Noticing if the air wherever you are feels thick or if it feels thin. If you notice the humidity on a day like today, maybe your place is dry. Just noticing the air as it comes in and out of your body, in and out from your nose. Be a nice time if you have an ujjayi breath, if you know what that is, utilizing that, slightly constricting your throat so you can hear your breath. But if you don't, just breathing normally is fine. Start to slightly deepen your breath, maybe holding it for 1 second longer than you typically would. Now I'd invite you to take both your hands to your belly, around your belly button, just gently, just noticing how your stomach rises and falls with your breath. Rises and falls. trying to change anything about your breath, but just noticing it where it is as you settle in. How the air comes into your body, expands it. How as you release, your body shrinks, maybe it tenses. You struggle with body image, this can be a little tough to just let your belly hang out, but just reminding yourself that you're a living organism and that breath will change what your body looks like. And that makes sense, and that's okay. And switching where your palms are to your lower ribs, so kind of having your thumbs on the back of your chest cavity. You might have to sit up a little for this. And doing the same, noticing how your breath expands your rib cage on the in-breath, maybe collapses it as you exhale. Maybe you notice the space between your ribs expanding and shrinking. Just noticing how our breath is part of us as living organisms. Finally, putting your arms up here by your collarbones. Same exact thing. Now, even up here, we feel some of our breath. Notice your breath naturally deepening or slowing. It's okay, that's great. It's helping you relax. Placing your palms back down on your lap. Maybe palms up now. You're feeling more relaxed, more grounded. Just noticing how you might already be feeling more relaxed from the beginning. Any thoughts that come in, you don't necessarily have to entertain them. Just imagine them as leaves on a river just passing by, or a cloud on a nice windy day. Notice them moving. To be attached to them, you also don't have to swat them away. Just let them pass through your mind. That's how we quiet our mind. From here, let's set an intention. Your why, why you came to this space today, why spring growth and renewal maybe intrigued you. Whatever that means for you, just set that intention in your mind. Maybe it's for another person. Maybe it's for yourself. Maybe it's for a goal you're having. Maybe it's just to slow down, to be still for a bit amidst all the chaos of summer planning or other things that are happening in our lives. Just take in one big deep breath and exhale through the mouth. Do that 2 more times. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through your mouth. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Going internal, cutting off any imaginary cords to the outside. They'll all still be there when we return from this space. Just give yourself this time to just be present and see what that might do for your perspective on things. Leave us in the stillness for a minute or so, just to soak this in, to stay present before we begin our meditation exercise for today. Just noticing the slowness. Maybe this is the first time you've been this slow today or this week. Maybe you're familiar with this and it's just nice to come back to it again. It isn't completely still, but it's more still than you're used to. That's where we start. Now just bring your attention to wherever your body has contact with the earth, whether that be a chair or a floor or pillow. Just noticing where your body meets the earth, where it meets the other or the seeming other. How does that space feel? You can sink into it a little more. Let your body be slightly heavier. Notice the weight and how the earth, the ground, it supports you, it holds you up. Releasing any tension that you might be using to hold yourself up. Anything that isn't necessary to stay upright. Oftentimes we hold our core tighter than we need to throughout the day. Maybe our backs, our shoulders, our neck. Just allow yourself to be heavy. And notice that point of contact. If you're sitting in a chair, that might be your feet. Just noticing how you can relax your ankles, your shins, your toes, to just be heavy, to be weighty. Imagine sinking them into the earth. You're on soft sand. I want you to imagine that you have roots coming from your body. You don't have to look any certain way. Just allowing that in. Still allowing that weightiness in your seat and thinking of roots casting down into the earth. You're a living being too, burrowing into the earth. You're feeling anchored to where you are, sturdy, balanced. Notice that sturdiness. Envision those roots pulling up the nutrients, the natural energy of the earth, especially at this time of the year in the spring, right? Certain energy to the earth, to everything around us coming alive. We can take some of that on too. It can feel nice, especially if we've been a bit depressed or slow over the winter. And imagine that energy has a color. Maybe it's purple, healing color. Maybe it's one of yellow, one that's joyous, protective, related to identity. Any color that comes to mind is okay. Just imagine the energy that you're soaking up has a color, and going up through those roots and into your body. Just picture it traveling up your legs, pausing a bit at your tailbone, at your root chakra, feeling especially rooted, secure, a part of the earth. That color has a texture or a shade. It's particularly light or dark, dense or airy. However you imagine that energy is what you're probably needing to some extent. You need to judge it. Noticing that energy, how it feels in your legs, in your lower body. Maybe it continues traveling up your body. If we're picturing a tree, this is sort of like the trunk. You picture it swirling up your spine between the vertebrae, filling in all the spots between your bones, easing any tension that maybe you weren't able to let go of before. Allow this visualization to do something for you. So you picture that energy still coming up from the ground. Now it's traveling up through your spine, twirling around through your bones. Maybe heading up all the way up your spine to your skull, up to your crown. You can almost feel it pulling you up. This current of liberation. Feel nice to take some deeper breaths and just notice all this energy that you've pulled into your body. Maybe your body feels warmer or cooler. Maybe you notice yourself feeling more tingly with energy, or maybe there's something about this stimulation that's grounding and stilling for your body if it was feeling restless before. Whatever it's doing is okay, as long as you feel comfortable with it. As it goes up to your crown, tippy top of your head, just imagine it pouring out in all different directions. These are the branches, the leaves. Just imagine your body being this vessel for this energy from the earth to the psyche, spilling out, overflowing. This is what connects us to each other. We picture canopy of trees. They're also intertwined, interwoven. That's how we are as humans with our relationships, with our networks. We're all interwoven. Maybe you imagine sending this liberating, springy energy out to someone who's needing it, to other people in your life, to people who are suffering. Whatever comes to mind, know that this energy is in abundance. You don't have to pick and choose. You can send it to the whole world if you're wanting to, or you can channel it towards someone or something that's really needing it. As you kind of visualize this energy coming up through you, noticing how your body feels different than maybe it does in the day-to-day, or even different from how you came in, right? Maybe you feel lighter, stretched out. Picture that energy, just that light, that energy has a color. It's just spreading out from you and your being. When we say that people enter a room and they just have this light about them, this is what we mean. Those are the people that are so grounded and so connected to the world that they just have that energy with them. Noticing that we can too, that it's an effort, it's an act, and that's where we start. Once you imagine this energy, maybe you choose one person that you want to send it to, and just picture them, imagine what they might be doing right now. Maybe they're working, maybe they're settling in for their night. Maybe you don't know, it's just however you imagine them right now. Just imagine this light, this energy, just encapsulating them, just covering them. This energy of lightness, of growth, of renewal, of spring. Offer them this sort of psychic gift and imagine how it affects them. Maybe they feel relief. Maybe they're smiling, bring up some joy. Maybe they feel excited, jumping up and down. Maybe it makes them cry. Whatever you imagine it doing for them, just picture that, visualize that. As you imagine that, just know that we can do that with our words, with our presence, with our actions. Bring this intention to the world, to people around us. They can feel it. It's a lovely effect to have. Now that you're imagining them, and what you're giving them, what does that do for you? How do you feel now that you're giving this energy, this loveliness, this comfort, compassion, whatever you picture that energy doing to that person? How does it feel for you to be acting in that way? Maybe it's vulnerable, something that you wouldn't typically do. Maybe it feels like it's speaking to a part of you that other people don't always notice, that you know is there. Maybe it's a part of you that you don't like to show to the world often because it feels scary. That loving, nurturing, grounding part of you. We all have to varying extents. Just noticing what that does for you to act in this way, to let this part of you be known, even if it's just in this visualization exercise. Soak all of that in, this goodness, this feeling, and we can end the imagery there by just imagining ourselves exiting that scene. You still hold all this energy to yourself, but maybe you imagine it going back down into the earth, sending it back down and noticing how it's changed you by occupying this vessel. As it left you lighter, it's left you more relaxed. This is the current of manifestation. Back down into the earth, where you can always access it whether it be through grounding yourself or taking a deep breath. That energy is always there for us. And today we really intentionally tapped into it. Just taking a few more deep breaths in this space. Now, come back to life. Maybe you flutter your eyes open, wiggle your toes or your fingers, wiggle your jaw maybe to rub my thighs a bit. I'm coming out of a meditation. I don't know why. It feels good. Cracking your fingers or toes. That's where we'll wrap up today. If you found this useful, stop recording.